Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to discuss about NumPy concepts and without delay, let us start. So here we are guys, let us start with our topic. So what is exactly why NumPy is so significant for AI? Because NumPy is nothing but a numerical Python. And when we are talking about numerical, the first term it is coming into our mind is mathematics, right? So, in short, NumPy has every mathematical concept covered, whichever are needed for your AI. So, you will get everything bundled together, all the modules in NumPy. So, this is the again Python library, which basically is going to be worked with arrays, right? And it has again the functions to work whatever we understood, right? In our previous videos we have understood linear algebra, okay, matrix, vectors, everything it is able to take care. And why I taught you all those things, because if you'll get the memory or the brush up on all those things, here you just need to write one line to achieve it. You don't have to calculate. But if you know the concept, what exactly the thing, by brushing up your knowledge, this will help you to move further. And yeah, again, why NumPy has come into picture? What are the significance of NumPy here? Why to use NumPy? It has good speed. If you will see the other data structures like list, other things, they have certain limitations. If you take an example of list has one characteristics which is immutable characteristic. You cannot add other operators or other type of variables like integer or other things. You cannot do any kind of such operations with list. However, here the speed is good. The speed to work with multi-dimensional array is really good in case of NumPy. And again, it is not only based out of Python, it has some concepts of C, which is a base. I can say that it is a combination of Python plus C language. And again, because of the speed, it is really efficient in terms of memory. It is it is really fast enough to work on because it consumes less memory, right? And you can work with large data sets very easily with NumPy. Then here all the arrays are represented with n-dimensional. So we have a property. We have a property in NumPy which is called ND-array, which holds the multi-dimensional array object and its functionalities. That is why the efficiency, the speed and everything is really good because it has whole things bundled up together. Okay. Now let us see why the first point I said, right? Why it is needed. So let us check that. Let me print one with some list. Okay. Let me see what exactly giving me the output. Okay. We got error, right? What is the error we got? We got type error. And when during our exception class, what I said, type error is due to what? If two different type of data types are combined or you are performing some operations on that, you will get type error. Here, you are saying here the error it is saying that unsupported operand types for plus, int and list. So again, like I said, that list is immutable. So you need to understand immutable means you cannot break into anything. You cannot do any kind of operations with list apart from list. So if you add list with list, let us see what we are getting. Now let us see what it is. See, here again when we are combining list with list, are we getting the correct output? We are not. It is simply adding up the elements and it is providing me the output, right? So to avoid all such kind of things, we have NumPy coming into picture. Now let us see how to initialize NumPy and how to install NumPy. So if you do not have NumPy in your system, usually basically it used to be the like an inbuilt thing which will be available with the package. But if it won't be available, then in that case you can just write like this: pip install NumPy. Okay. So all these files I'm going to share in GitHub, guys, and I have already shared the GitHub link previously. Even I'm going to share right now. After this, you can take all those things and you can start practicing. So here you can see pip install NumPy you can do, and if you already have NumPy, this is the logic, or this is the way you can import NumPy library. Import NumPy, and this is the LIS. If you are not using the LIS, you just need to type here numpy.array, right? As you are using np, that is why you are using np.array. If you are not using np, you just need to type numpy.array. So you can see here in the top section, here I have initialized a list, right? And that list I am printing here, correct? So what is the output I am getting? I am getting the list and I am trying to understand what is the type of that. A type, it is telling me list. Okay, now that list, it is not only list. NumPy has the capability to convert any kind of data structures, list or tuple, into an array. So here, this is the simple syntax, guys. You just need to type np.array. So array is nothing but the one which will convert any kind of data structures like list or tuple into an array. So the same thing, I just modified a bit and I was trying to assign with one variable, because it will store, right? Whenever you are assigning something, it needs to be stored in some variable. So I have assigned it a variable, you can see. And now I am trying to print and see what exactly is the output I am getting. See, I am getting a list again. Like it looks like a list, right? Still, what is the type I am getting? Mark it, guys. It's a numpy.nd array. So nd array is the type, is the data type, I can say, which depicts or which says, okay, this is your n-dimensional array. Like the same you can imagine like that, because we can write n-dimensional array, we can pass n-dimensional array inside this, and I will show you below. Then here one example I have taken again. So on top section you saw this is a list, and I have explained you already, guys. List can be with square bracket, tuple can be with this bracket, like this type of bracket, right? So if let me run it again, the tuple can be converted to an array. You can see it has been converted to an array, and the type, it is telling me numpy.nd array. And guys, when we are talking about array, right, again those are getting saved in terms of matrices, right? Any array, how it is getting presented, it will present, if I'll present you how it is going to be. Let me show you that in example. Let me take you to the whiteboard. So guys, when we are saying, okay, this is my array, right? 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So how it is getting presented, guys, in matrix? This is array and the same thing is a matrix, right? So what we can say, it is one-dimensional matrix, correct? This one-dimensional matrix because it has only one array, one row, right? If we will say like this, we have two more like this. And how it is going to be presented in matrix format? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like this, it will be presented, right, in terms of matrix. And what is the size of this, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 columns and 2 rows. So it is a 2 cross 7 matrix, right? So let us go back. Similarly, we have 1D array, 2D array, 3D array. Like that, we have higher dimensional arrays even we can present here in case of NumPy. So let us see one after another example and how. I'll tell you the simplest way to remember the syntaxes. So here you can see this is 0 dimensional, right? Import NumPy and this np.array. I just passed one element. That's one number I passed. And what is that? That is nothing but 0 dimension because it's just a number. So it has 0 dimension and I'm printing ndim. Ndim is nothing but it will tell you what is the dimension of that particular array. So first property what we understood, we understood how, like, what is the type of data type of that array is ndim, right? Nd array. Similarly, to know the dimension of that array, we have something called ndim. Nd array, nd. So these properties are important, guys. So remember it. So I'm able to print 70 and I'm able to get 0 as the dimension because it is 0 dimension. Similarly, let us see this example. See, when we're trying to print ndim of that array as that property, we are getting one dimensional array because it has one dimension. That means one row, right? Similarly, so one short form you can understand how many rows are present. It is that dimensional array. Okay. Now let us see another example. See? Okay, let us see. One short form you should be able to, like, I'll tell you guys right now. See this one. I have taken two lists, right? Here, if you'll see in short what it is. These are two lists. These two lists are covered with another square bracket. So whenever you are seeing two brackets on either side, on both sides, you can consider that is a two-dimensional array, and that is the easiest method to remember or the syntax. Or it is not, you don't have to remember the syntax. This is how you can you can declare that two-dimensional array. So you can see two square bracket present here, two square bracket present here. That is how easy it is, right? So you can understand, okay, this is two-dimensional array without thinking anything. So, and like I have already shown, that thing is getting presented like this, and this is a matrix, right? This is a matrix form, right? So again, we will see what is a three-dimensional array. Let us see that. Again, I have taken three-dimensional array means I have taken three lists here, right? With comma separated. Again, how you will know three-dimensional? You need to put two brackets, but like beside the, like outside of both. That means if you will see, this is my array. Because it is three-dimensional, one square bracket, another square bracket. That's it. How is it is, right? So with three square bracket, you should be able to know, okay, that is three-dimensional. Okay. Let us do one thing. Let us create another four-dimensional and see how. Just then we will see that. Let me do it. So the number of brackets, it is increasing, square brackets, that much is your dimension of that array. Okay. Now let me do it. Let me try to, just a second. Get. Now let us see. Oh, we need to put another bracket. Is it? See? 4. Right? See, now how is it is? This is the key point you can take and you can apply in your practice. This is how you present your arrays till n dimensional. You can take till 15, you can till 50, 100, n dimension you can take. This is how you can assign to any list or any tuple or anything to any kind of array. So, now we will understand the different properties, guys, of array. So, like what I said, n dimension, n dim, and nd mean. So, this argument explicitly sets the minimum number of dimensions for the resulting array. So, nd mean, sorry, like that's a tongue twisting. Nd mean is nothing but when you are trying to explicitly, like you don't know what could be your, sometimes you want to assign to some dimension, right? Explicitly you want to assign to some dimension. So, this is how you can do. On top side, what we did, we, like on here, what we did, we tried to assign the matrix in a proper manner, right? Like we knew, okay, this is the 4 dimensions, I need to put 4 rows, right? Again, 4 square brackets should be there. But here, I have just called one list and I want to assign the dimension explicitly. This is how you can do. Nd mean equal to 5. So, with that, what I am trying to do, I am getting the number of dimensions for that particular list. And I do not have to mention like that there should not be any proper assignment on that. I just called, like I just used this nd mean and I have and now it is giving me the array, right? Now let us see another like what are the other properties we have. So we now we understood nd array is a data type. Now we understood nd mean and we understood ndim. Ndim is what, guys? Ndim is going to tell you the number of dimensions. Ndim is going to explicitly let you create your own dimension or the matrix of that array, correct? Similarly, we have something called size. What is size? The size is something, it will give you some value which will represent the total number of elements present in that array. It's just going to count the elements of that array. Elements means you understood it. When you're writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it has 5 elements. Again, if it is a 2 cross 2 matrix, it is going to give you 10 elements, right? So, what is the shape? Now, these things are like we are going to see all examples in upcoming, if you go down. Now, what is a shape? A shape attribute, again, is going to give you the shape of that array. Shape means when you are saying m cross n, right? M cross n is nothing but a shape of that matrix or shape of that array. So, it is going to give you that particular value. The 1 cross 1, it is going to give you 1 cross 1. If it is 2 cross 2, it is going to give you 2 cross 2. If it is 2 cross 4, it is going to give you 2 cross 4. And we will see all examples. Similarly, we have something called D type. D type means what is that? It is going to give you the specific data type of the elements which are used in that array. Okay. So, and one important point, guys, whenever we are saying we are using the elements in an array, NumPy array, right? All the elements should have a uniformity. For example, if you are taking integer array, right? So, there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you are taking. You cannot take 1, 2.5, 3, 4.5, 5. So, all the elements which you are using, those should have a common type. Either you should take float, either you should take integer. Similarly, we have another property which is called item size. So, what it is going to give you, it is going to tell you what is the type or what is the items, like it is going to give you what is the size of those items that are used. Either it is, float 65, int 32, int 64. Again, I do not have to go and explain you those things because you guys must be knowing it. In 32 means it's based on 32 bit, right? 64 means 64 bit, correct? And again, we have something called n bytes. N bytes is nothing but it's going to tell you the number of bytes it consumed in the memory. The number of bytes, because each and every everything whichever we are working, it consumes some memory, right? And all those memories are in terms of bytes, right? So that is how it is going to give you. And how it is getting calculated, guys? It is going to be calculated with size into item size. Size into item size. What is size, guys? Like when we are saying, okay, the number of elements and item size. Item size means each item, how much bytes it is. That is nothing but item size. Then we have something called attribute, which is nothing but transpose attribute. So that attribute, what it is going to do, whatever array you have, for example, if you have 2 cross 3, right? So that it is going to make you 3 cross 2. Like all rows will become columns and all columns will become rows. Then we have something called flat. Okay. This attribute provides an iterator that allows iterating over all elements of the array as if it were a 1D array. I'll show you that example better. Now let us see. Let us see one after another. What are the properties? So guys, you can see here. What is the dimension of this array, guys? It is 2D array, right? And how many elements it contains? In one row, I have 3 items. In another row, I have 3 items. How many columns? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 columns. So, when we are saying when we are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the dimension of this, guys? It is 2 cross 3. So 2 should be your row. Okay. So your row should come first. Then your column. Right? So this is one row. This is second row. This is one column. Second column. Third. Okay. Now let us go back. So what we are trying to do? We are trying to get the size of that array. So how many elements? Like I already said, size is going to give you the number of elements present in that array. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are getting the output as 6. Now let us see. What is the next property, guys? We have something called shape. Shape is going to, what it is going to give you? It is going to give you m cross n format output, right? So see what we got here. We got 2, 3. That means it is 2 cross 3 matrix, right? Like I have already shown here, correct? Similarly, here, let us see another example. Here, what is the D type we are using? That it is giving me. So all elements which we have present here, all those are our integer type. So it is giving me the integer type. Now let me change it to float or something. One element, let me change it to float. Let's see what it is. It is going to give you float, right? Now let us see. But the usual practice is always be, guys, keep all the elements uniform. You should not keep, mix elements in one array. Now let us, so this is how we are getting the data type, right? Data type of each, what are the elements present? Those elements is going to be give you the data type. And you observe one thing, guys, I changed only one element to float. However, it is giving me the whole array as float, right? That is incorrect. Like that understanding is incorrect. Even though it is not giving me error, but that understanding is wrong, right? Because it is implicitly converting all elements to float. Then we have something called what is it? Item size. So what my item size is going to give you guys? It is going to give you the bytes of that array, right? So see, the first row, what it is giving me? It is giving me the byte size is 8. Okay. In the second row, what I am trying to do, I have taken another array and there is something called this is consider that this is a 32-bit integer. So what it is going to give you is going to, like, I am trying to explicitly assign it to int 64. So int 64, see, when we are talking about int 32, the byte size will come to 4. When we will convert it to int 64, it is going to give you 8. So if I'll remove, let me try to run it again. See, let me change it to np dot. See, we have other sizes as well, int 32. Again, like 256, 128, 16, 32. Till that you will get 64. Till 64 you will get. See, when I changed explicitly to int 32, right? What it is giving me? It is giving me 4, right? So this is how you can, you can use item size. The item size is nothing but is going to give you the what is the size it is taking in memory, right? All the elements. And let us see another property. So, okay, I will come back to this later. Let us see transpose. Okay, we have one array here. Again, I am importing numpy. It's import numpy as MP. Similarly, whatever you are using, right? Like whatever libraries you are using, this is how you should import. Then the library name, then as your alias, right? So here I have taken one array, np.array. I have taken 2-dimensional array by how I knew these are the 2 square brackets, then, right? So first I am printing the original array. Then what I am trying, I have taken a variable and I am assigning with transpose. So how to assign it? You just need to take that and just need to type P. So with T, it is going to give me the transposed array. Now let us see the output. Before what it was? 2 cross 3, right? 2 rows, 3 columns, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6. These are the 3 columns. Now after transposing, what we are getting? E rows. This is 1 row, this is another row, and this is third row, right? And 2 columns. This is 1 column, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 is another column. Now let us see another example. We understood about flat. Now let us see what we are getting. I told you, right? I will show an example. So it will be. So what exactly is happening here? I have taken an array, okay, and I want to print. I want to iterate that array. Like I want to print those elements. How to print it? This is how. Usually for list we are using this list dot index. We are taking index and we are taking range and we are using those things, right? We are iterating over, or you are enumerating in case of dictionary or list, right? But here in this case we have something called flat. So flat means what it is going to give you is going to take that number of dimensional array and it is going to flat the elements. Flat. Convert it to the normal elements or normal numbers or normal integers, you can say. So here what I did, it is 2-dimensional, and so that 2-dimensional matrix, it is converting into numbers. That's it. So that is what is a term called flattening, right guys? Flattening. When you're talking about flattening, is flattening the elements to the normal form. It's now here no dimension, it is just normal numbers, right? So this is how you can do for element. Like I want to print the elements, right, of each and every elements of that array. So, and what I did, I am trying to use array dot flat. So this is the variable I have taken where I have assigned my array, and I am using dot flat. So dot flat is nothing but a num nd array, correct, right? So that is going to give you the elements, individual elements. And if you want to access each and every elements, this is how you can do. For example, I have, so how is the indexes, guys? I have already told you. What is the index? This is 0. This is 1. This is 2. 3 is 2. 4 is 3. And 5 is 4. And 6 is 5. So, if you print 0, means what is the index, like what is the element it is going to give you? Going to give you 1. Similarly, if you will try to print, so what I'm trying to say, you can assign, like now it is a, it is a simple, elements, and every elements are getting stored in terms of, like, in terms of indexes, right? I've already explained you. So this indexes again starts with 0, right? That is how you can achieve by getting the individual elements, right? Now let us see what are the libraries, different libraries available, because this one you need to know what exactly is the implementations over wide or variety of applications which NumPy has. So the first one is linear, like for any kind of linear algebra operations, like including matrix multiplication, everything we will see, guys. Inversion, determinant, eigen composition, linear equations, everything. We have NumPy dot linear algebra. So this is the one module of NumPy, I can say. Again, this is another module which is NumPy.FFT, which is fast Fourier transformation and related operations. Again, it is useful in signal processing and other domains. Then we have something called NumPy.random. So out of these things, guys, I'll tell you this one and this one, the most important libraries, and we will understand every bit of this thing. We have so many things again, guys. It's just a start. So, and this random, what it is going to give you, it is going to, for example, how we are doing when we are saying 1, 10 is a random. So, in between 1, 10 and you will give limit. Okay, I want to generate pseudo random numbers till 100. So, it will shuffle, it will seed, it will do everything, and it will give you the 100 numbers between 1 to 10. That is what your random number. So when I say random number generation, that means we don't know the sequence, we don't know anything. It is just going to give you the numbers. And even this random has the various probability distributions presented here, guys. Again, we will see. So we already understood, right, what are the probability distribution. That is why, guys, I had told you all these things so that you can connect here. And this is how you can connect it, right? We have understood, okay, normal distribution, uniform distribution, binomial distribution, right? Correct? So all those things we will see. Then we have something called numpy.ma. So that is for masked array, okay? So this, again, this one is why you are using. It's allowing operations to ignore some invalid data points, right? We will see about this again in our upcoming videos. Then we have something called numpy.char. It's a string operations where we are using string operations. We will not cover much on this, but I mean, yeah, like I said, there are some 2 to 3 important libraries which we will see. Then we have something called matlib. Again, plus matrix things which we are doing here. Same thing we are achieving in linear algebra. Then we have something called polynomials. So contains classes and functions for working with polynomial. Polynomial means what, guys? Polynomial equations, correct? when you are saying 3x square plus 2x plus 3 equal to 0, that is your equation. So all those kind of equations we can work here, numpy dot polynomial, right? Then we have testing. So all kind of testing, if you want to test something on numpy, then this is going to give you all utilities. So all these are modules, guys. Okay. Then we have something called dist utils. So dist utils again offer system support for numpy extensions for internal use and development. Then we have something called Fortran code, and all the tools and functionalities are present in F2 like .f2py. So these are the broader applications, guys, for numpy, and we will cover next all things one by one, guys, one after another. So till that time, well, that is all for now. We will cover further topics on numpy. Till that time, stay tuned to this channel. Start subscribing, like, share your comments, share your feedback. And if you want to gain in-depth knowledge or concepts, this is the place where you should be. Don't miss it. Till that time, see you. Thank you.